Good morning and welcome in on this Thursday morning. We're actually Maundy Thursday today. So welcome in on this Thursday morning to our Facebook Live, where in a moment we're going to continue playing with the Under My Umbrella suite. So that's the plan this morning. So this morning will probably be the last morning we're going to play with this suite for now. This suite, it's a bundle. Morning, Valerie. This will be the last morning we're going to play with this bundle for a little while. I'll come in tomorrow morning, but I'll try and think of something a bit Eastery to do. Then I won't be here over the weekend, but I probably will come in on Monday morning, even though it's a bank holiday, because, well, one day is very much merging into another for most of us, isn't it? So it's nice to have something to look forward to for me to do, and hopefully for you to look forward to coming and joining me. So Under My Umbrella. Morning. So we've got Valerie, we've got Lisa, and we've got Beryl. Lovely to have you join me, ladies. Hope all is well with you this morning. So far this week, what have we done? We've cased the catalogue, done a couple of little umbrellas there. We did our PP umbrella. We did our rainbow umbrella. Yesterday we did our umbrellas with Stamparatus and watercolouring. What more possibly can we do with umbrellas, I ask myself. Well, I've had a couple of thoughts for today. So let us start with this one. So here I've got a little piece of Whisper White cardstock, because what it struck me is that we haven't used the flowers an awful lot. We did on the first day when we masked off that umbrella and stamped the flowers into the hole. Morning, Karen. But we haven't used the flowers very much since then, so I thought this morning we'd have a bit of a play with those flowers to start with. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get let's see, I've nearly cleared away all the scraps of paper from my class yesterday. I did a class yesterday afternoon that was scraps and strips, mainly strips of paper, things to do with strips of paper. And once it had finished, I almost straight off went and got the tea going, and took yesterday evening sort of off. So I came into this morning to lots and lots of strips of paper everywhere. So I've got just a scrap bit of paper there, and I want the flat side because I'm going to mask off this cardstock. I'm not going to get on very well with that roll of tape because it's right at the end. Let's grab another one. Let me just, while I'm thinking about it, rip that unsticky end bit of tape off. Now, it may be, depending on how wide I want this, well, I think I want it to be a bit wider than the length, the width of the paper. Let's come down the bottom here. And let's... I think I'm going to take an inch either side. So I'm going to lay that paper down. So there's an inch either side covered up. You can see that doesn't look straight because those two don't line up, do they? I'm going to turn my mat round. Sorry, me chuntering at myself. I'm going to turn my mat round there so that my grid lines are going to continue and you're still going to be able to see it. Let's come up a smidge just there. So, lining that up, I'm going to come in and inch that side got a picture of Mike stuck to that bit of sticky tape. And we'll come in and inch that side. You can do that in centimetres, or it doesn't matter really. I just want it to be even. So 4 little squares one side, 4 little squares the other. Whatever you do one side, do the other. Excellent. It's lovely to have you. Hello, Louise. Lovely to have you listening to us with sound this morning, Div. Div normally listens to us, just watches the video and has us on silent because she's working from home at the moment. So Karen, lovely to have you. Louise, lovely to have you with us. And Megan, hello. And hello to Emma. Right, so we've just made a little strip down the centre of that piece of shimmery white cardstock. And then I am going to take these little flower stamps. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 different flower stamps in there. As always, we have no here's one we made earlier. This is us making it up as we go along, as we do every morning. So I'm just going to lay these stamps out, because I'm going to pick them all up on my block at one time. Now what I should have perhaps done is stuck that this down onto a foam mat, but do you know what, I haven't, so we're just going to have to go with it. Okay, so we have just picked all of the flower stamps up on one block. Thank you for sharing, Angie. You are a star. You are a sharing superstar. Now then, somewhere on this table we have a So Saffron ink pad, and the other thing I'm going to drag out from underneath my glass mat, as if by magic, a piece of scrap paper. Although we could use these, actually. Let's just use those to save banging up our desk with something else. So I'm just going to ink up these flowers with a So Saffron ink pad, stamp it off, and then stamp on there. So obviously that's looking very pale, but that is absolutely okay, because I want it to. So I'm just stamping these down here, fitting them in. You can get another little flowery bit in there. Oh, that one I did solid. Oh, I didn't stamp that one off. Never mind. Worst case scenario. That'll be where the sentiment goes. Right, so if we move that out of the way, hopefully what we've got then, and you may not be able to see it very clearly, is a centre panel there with very pale stamping on it, but no stamping either side. We've let ourselves sort of tram lines either side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take watercolour pencils. I don't think we've used our watercolour pencils this week. We've had blends and we've watercoloured, and we might have done one day, we might have had watercolour pencils. Who knows? We've got them again this morning. So let us find a blender pen. Give that a scribble. I'm going to have to put the chair up a little bit. Hi, Chrissy. Oh, good. You've started your card, Angie. That's good. Right, so let's come on in. So I can see these faint outlines on here of my stamping. So we're going to do some no line watercolouring. So let's just put down a bit of orange there. So this will look very odd to start with. It may look very odd to finish with, who knows, but hopefully not. This one, obviously we're going to have a bit more colour on the edge there, but that's okay, we can blend that all in. So just doing a few little orange flowers, just laying down a bit of colour, because we're going to blend it out in a minute, so we're not worried about it being particularly neat. Or let's have this little one here as an orange one, and we'll have this little piece of sticky out one there, orange. So as we blend these out, we should lose any sort of sense of there being a stamped outline, and just get little watercoloured flowers, which will look quite sort of random. And if we've taken our little blobs of paint and just scattered them around the place. Let's come over that edge a little bit and blend out where we forgot to, the royal we, where we forgot to stamp off. I'm allowing you to take part of the blame for that. It was all me. I forgot to stamp off. Let's give those some yellow centres. Blend those out a little bit. There's some orange. What else shall we have? Shall we have a bit of flirty flamingo? These sort of almost tulipy type shaped flowers. So we had our did my first Zoom class yesterday. That one's so pale I can't see it, but I'll just add a bit of orange and a bit of yellow down there, I think. Let me scribble. Let's just do that one before we go on to anything else. So yes, our first Zoom class yesterday. We've had a few Zoom get-togethers, but that was our first class, so that was quite fun. Bit of a technique class. So I've ended up with a whole nice stack of cards that have been created with strips of paper and scraps of paper. Let's put down some leaves. The nice thing about this technique is you don't have to be too precise, because it does all blend off into the stamping, sort of all blends off, so nobody's going to really know where it was stamped in the first place. You're just using it as a guideline to lay down your colour. I could have gone in with some different colour greens. I'm going to stick to one for now. We'll keep that relatively simple. Let's Pam. Thank you, Angie. It's nice to be loved. Just catching up on a few messages. I need to do some catching up with my, I have been trying to do some story reading for my grandchildren. So I've got my one son at home and my husband, who are both going out, still going out to work. They're doing okay. Then I've got my two girls that have both got one little one each. One's 3 now and one's 4. But I have been trying to do them sort of online stories. And I've done them in a private Facebook group so that they can go back and listen again. But I've not done one for a few days. So I need to try today to put another story in the kitty. Right, what other colours shall we have? Let's have a bit of gorgeous grape, shall we? I'll go down back and fill in a bit more orange in a minute. Let's have a little gorgeous grape one there and a bit more pink. We'll have this big one as a gorgeous grape one here. One of these little ones, let's have that big one just there. This little one just here. This one coming round here. This big one here. I think we need an orange one in here. And in here. It's amazing, isn't it? You think you've done them all and then completely missed. Yep, that needs a pink, that needs a pink, that needs an orange. That needs an orange. That needs an orange and a pink. Let's just put down these colours and then I can come in and blend them out. Bit of pink just there. Some green just here. Thought I'd got all the leaves, but I obviously hadn't. Okay, so let's just come in with our blender pen. Hi Hannah. Morning, morning. Still managing to colour and talk. Right, let's decide what colour we're going to do first, Helen, because we've now made our purple green. Let's concentrate on gorgeous grape for a minute. So this one hasn't got an umbrella or a brolly, and an umbrella or a pair of wellies in sight. This one is all about the flowers. Let's come down the side here. Oh dear. So Hannah is a midwife. So busy night. So lots of babies coming into the world in Leicester last night. I saw something then that I needed to fill in, but wherever it is, I've lost it again now. How is that? Let's blend those out. So a bit of no line watercolouring. Let's just add some centres into some of these flowers. So a very soft pastel-y look. We're definitely going to have to put a yeah, I thought you meant busy and not a bust tonight. Although if you've got breastfeeding mums, it's perhaps a bit of both. And actually it's quite nice, isn't it, in this time of where the world is full of sort of figures of those people that are really ill and those people that are unfortunately dying. It's nice to know that life is going on, and yeah, we're also welcoming people into the world, so that's good. I'm going to find, I'd grabbed a piece of card, but I've changed my mind on what colour I want it to be. Let us grab a little bit of Granny Apple Green, I think. And I might also while I'm here grab some Daffodil Delight. That's quite a nice combo, isn't it? That's very nice and spring-like. So let us make a card base. So I've got my old trimmer here because of the scoring blade situation. Poor scoring blade. I wonder where it ended up. And will I ever come to light? Will I find it, move something and find it, or is it gone forever? You go to bed, Hannah. Good plan. Go and get some sleep. Right, so we've cut our card base, standard card base, half a piece of A4. So that's a standard first mat, 10 centimetres by 14.4. And then we've got our pretty panelled card down there. Now we could take a pen and actually physically draw in lines both sides so that you can see where that is supposed to be, and actually I might do that. Do I want it to be in black though? I might take, oh, you can hear, can't you, my brain ticking away on these lives. Let's see if we can find, as I rummage around, my Granny Apple Green marker. And let's take my ruler. Let's draw in a Granny Apple Green line. Down there. Oh, that one didn't come out very well. That I missed the mark slightly. But that's okay because that's opposite to where I've got that bit there. So we will bring something across there as our sentiment. Thank you. So that's a bit of no line watercolouring with some tram lines down the side And then I think we'll have a banner coming across this way with our greeting on. So let's find, I've got a piece of granny apple green there that I am going to chop down to, I'm going to make it 10 centimetres. Because I'm going to banner end it, and we'll do the same with, we'll make this one, don't know how long I want it, how big I want it yet, so let me just snip a bit off and make this 9.5, and then we will choose a sentiment. What shall we have to go on there? So we could have happy birthday, we could have, do we want something a bit more general? Needs to be quite a nice big bold, we could go with our, let's go with our ornate thanks steps, I think. And no, I don't want to be as wide as that. No, or that. We're going to go with our thanks, I think. Let's have our thanks from our ornate thanks stamp set. Let's find a block to pop that on. And what colour shall we have that? Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the white embossing powder, and I think we'll emboss that in white. Let's see how that works. So we've got our mat, we've got our Versamark, we've got our embossing buddy. Let's make that, make it about central. I'm going to bring it down a bit because I'm going to trim that card when we finished. Let's bring in our white embossing powder. Thanks. Heat up. Quick slurp of my now pretty well cold tea. And let's heat that up. Let's try not to burn my fingers. It's always a good idea. Right, what do we think are our hopes of me cutting it straight on a trimmer? You know, I don't have a good track record with cutting things straight on trimmers. And it still wants to be a bit narrower yet, I think. Not bad at all. So how big is that? So it's about 2.2 centimeters. So if we make this about 2.7, pretty good. Right, I'm going to find my, hopefully, banner end punch. And let's banner end both of these. So I'm going to sit it so that just the corners sit on the edge of that punch. Turn it round and do the same. I might have to venture out shopping today. Shopping has become such a stressful experience. I don't mind queues and things. I don't mind standing and waiting. I just find it very the new feelings you have about getting close to people. I've always been happy to smile and chat at random strangers, but suddenly it feels like that's an awkward thing to be doing. That needs trimming off just a little bit more, I think. Hi Glenda, and it feels very odd not to automatically smile and engage. Well, you can smile at people, but engage with people. And feeling as if you've got to keep away from them. So I think that's what I find the most stressful. There we go. So let's stick that together. I've had my snail refill arrive in my box the other day, so snail is up and running again. So you'll have to let me know if you'd like a sneaky peek of all the strips, cards and things, strips and scraps cards that we made yesterday. Right, we're going to put that across there because that's going to cover up our where we forgot to stamp off for our no line watercolouring. So that can come across there. So we'll put that on with some dimensionals. Would we like anything else going on behind that? Oh. Trying to get my ribbons out and I've knocked my box that was underneath it on the floor. Never mind. We have got some Daffodil Delight ribbon here, haven't we? I know, Emma, waving to things. There was the most delightful little boy in the park the other day. Obviously he'd been told that he wasn't to approach people, that he couldn't go up to people and talk to them, but that he could wave at them. Because as I was going through the park, he was on like one of these battery operated Segway type things, and he made no effort to come very close to me, but he waved at me furiously across the park. And as he did his next circle of the park on his little thing, whatever it is, as he came near to me again, he shouted at me, "I like your dog." Bless him. It's very odd for the children, isn't it? They can't quite understand. Particularly the little Liz. I know my two daughters with their little Liz. My granddaughter had a bit of an emotional moment the other day because she was missing her friends, and my grandson can't understand why his other grandparents were just round the corner, why they can't come in if he sees them passing. Very sad. Or are you alone, Glenda? No, sometimes it's a real benefit that the dog doesn't answer back, but yes, it must be very difficult being completely on your own. I mean, I'm here most of the time on my own during the day, but come the evening, my husband and son are coming in. How is Taz going? Do you know, Megan, thank you so much for asking. He is doing remarkably well. So this is my dog. He was diagnosed with cancer just before Christmas last year. Doing remarkably well. I mean, he's an old boy and he's slowing up, but yeah, still getting out and about. He's still eating. still wagging his tail. He has little bursts of energy. He'll sleep most of the day, but then, you know, he's an old man. He's allowed. So there we go. No pets. Yeah, lots of video calls, chatting, coming on here. Yeah, chat with us, Emma. That's absolutely fine. So there we are. There's our first little card, just using those flowers. So we've just laid them all up on one block. So you could make nice background papers with that. Yeah, none of this sort of doing them individually. Put them all on one block and multi-stamp them. But then we did that with Stamped Off So Saffron ink. And then coloured them in with our watercolour pencils. So that's card number 1. There's something else we haven't done this week. That's a bit of no colour watercolouring, a bit of masking off the edges to give you that centre panel. Yep, a couple of techniques going on in there. And the other card that I thought we would do today is... Where have all my pieces gone? Oh, let me show you these. I brought these in to show you. I've had a couple of cards through the post. So this one came the other day from the lovely Jackie. So yeah, strippy technique. If you've seen these online, Bruno Bertucci's strippy technique. That's one that we did yesterday afternoon. But that's really lovely. That was for a challenge. So using the soon-to-be retiring in colours. So she's used all of those papers to make that strippy card. And not only did she post the card in the challenge, she then popped it in the post to me, which is lovely. And then this one came yesterday from Carol. So a happy Easter card. So that's not stamping up things. It's still lovely to receive beautiful cards. So all those little wooden chicks on there. So thank you. It's lovely to get post that happy post. Yeah. So there we go. That's that one. So next we're going to do... They are fun to make, aren't they, Megan? We'll perhaps have a go at a strippy card on one of the Facebook lives because they are so easy. Yet they look as if you spent ages working out where all those bits of paper are going to go. Right. I have been a bit organised here, and I have got some card mats and things cut out. Now, I thought to myself that we would have a go at an umbrella shaker card. And as I've thought about it this morning, I'm obviously not just going to be able to punch the shape out of that piece of card to make our aperture for our shaker element, because there's more than one shape on there. So I've got a little bit here that here's a piece of card we used the other day to create our umbrellas. I think that was yesterday, wasn't it? We had the Mango Melody umbrellas. So I'm going to grab a pencil. I'm going to lay that on that piece of Seaside Spray card, that is. And I am going to draw around it. Just like that. And then I'm obviously going to need to cut out that shape, or as near as is humanly possible. So here goes. I'm not an expert with a craft knife, but it probably is slightly easier than scissors when you're having to cut something right out of the middle of something. Some people are such whizzes with craft knives. I suppose like everything else, it's if you do it all the time, it's practice. And that is one of the benefit of having a glass mat, I have to say, is that I can do this on my glass mat without any worries. Let's come around that knobbly bit at the top and let's find out where we've missed, where there's bits still attached. Oh, not bad, not bad. So we have an umbrella shaped hole in our piece of card now, and we are going to need, I did intend to dig out earlier and I haven't, we're going to need some sprinkles. So I've gone with the woven threads paper, and we'll use the woven threads sequins. So we've got those. Also to one side here I've got my acetate, my window sheets. Now I didn't get a piece of window sheet out in advance just because, well, it would have disappeared, wouldn't it, on the table. So let's just trim down a piece of window sheet to go behind there. Is that going to fit in there? Yeah, it should do. So I know that this piece of card is 7.5 by 10.5. I've made that sort of 7 by about 8, so that will sit behind there quite nicely. I'm going to take my StazOn ink because obviously I'm about to stamp on acetate, which is always a dangerous thing. So let's take our umbrella and a block. I think actually I'm going to attach that acetate to that so that it doesn't wiggle, and then we will stick it in place. Looking around for my snail and I can't find it because I've put it away. Let's attach that on there. Then we'll turn it over. We'll bring in our mat. And this is where we're going to want a drum roll, please. We will attempt to stamp that umbrella on that acetate. Not bad. Slight miss on that corner, but we'll be able to do something about that. So there we are, we have our umbrella stamped onto our acetate. So while we are here, let us also, so the other thing I wanted to do, and I should have done that before I put that acetate in, the other thing I wanted to do was to take the little raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Excuse me, stretching over. Morning, Gwyn. And let's find our little dust buddy again, because I'm going to stamp some raindrops on here. I can just about see them. And then I'm going to take some clear embossing powder. I'm going to try very hard not to get it onto that acetate. I think my clear embossing powder is very nearly run out. And then the top here. There's a couple that look like they've not quite got powder on at the top there. Right, so let's take our heat gun again, and obviously that looks almost as if it's disappeared. It will just be sort of a subtle effect in the background, but because they're going to be glossy, hopefully they'll have a bit of a look of wet rain. Particularly with it being blue card underneath. I think we might need just a couple more down those bottom corners. There. We need to punch ourselves out a little umbrella handle. Let's put the lid on that and move it to one side. What colour handle shall we have? I might go with a bit of crumb cake. I think we might have a bit of a sort of wooden handle effect on this one. So let's just punch out a little handle to go on our umbrella. Okay, now we're going to need to dig out some of our foam strips. So let's take one of our double-sided foam strips and let's come round. Oh no, let's not do it that side. Let's turn it over. Let's come round our umbrella, making sure it's nicely squished down and there's no gaps, nowhere for little sequins to escape. And then when we come back round, we really want to make sure that that corner piece has squidged together. So it doesn't matter if that's not quite equal going around there or even, because that's on the back, we're not going to see it. The other thing I'm going to do is just put a couple of little strips down the bottom here to raise that bottom section up. Ooh. I might have one more actually. So these strips are absolutely invaluable when it comes to shaker cards. Ooh. That bit seems to have lost its sticky. Let's get another bit. All fingers and thumbs here. I think that's sticky that side. Yep. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to peel off that backing on these sticky strips. Oh, Gwen, it's you can come in and listen to my voice any morning, any weekday morning. Just have me on in the background if it helps. It's one of the reasons that I've come on and done them every morning, really, is that, you know, people are going to be feeling isolated and home alone. So even if it's not, card making isn't their thing, just come and enjoy the banter. Right, so we're just going to sprinkle in some of those sequins in that little box, that little foam tape box that we've made there. And then I've just got a piece of Whisper White card, and I need just to line that up, and hopefully it won't be too wonky. Stick that down, give it a good press. That's not bad. I'll perhaps just trim it off on this bottom here slightly. And possibly coming up the side here as well. So that's purposely got a bit of a white border. So there we are, we have a shaker umbrella. Let's bring in our card base, and then we will decide what else we want on there. So I've just got a Whisper White base there, standard size card with your mats. So that's a Seaside spray mat. This is a piece of paper from the Woven Threads Designer Series paper pack. We're going to have our umbrella coming on the top there like that. I haven't got any more of the Seaside spray. Sort of shimmery. Oh, Valerie, thank you. Morning, Wendy. Hope you're doing all right. Hope Dad had a good birthday. You were able to celebrate. Lovely pictures of the family coming to see him and wave through the window. So let's have a little bit of that trim just there. And we'll find some double-sided tape. It's lovely, this ribbon, isn't it? And of course it's all in colours, so oh, I've got an escaped sequin just there. I hope it's the only one to have escaped. I can't see any others escaping out the side, so I think we're okay. So there's our shaky umbrella. And we've got that going on there, so we'll stick that down now. I'm going to do that with a bit of Tombow, I think, just to... But not that Tombow. I've moved it again. I must make that a job. Whilst waiting for Facebook Live video to load, see if you can unbung that glue. Right. This on here. Shall we have a bit of a to knot or not to knot? I think it wants trimming, but I quite like the little knot. did have, now then, are they still out and about because I had them not very long ago, or have they gone away? I did have some little, some of the faceted gems from the In Colour collection, and I had them earlier, popping some on a card. Aha! I think we'll stick with the blue. Again, we'll give a bit of a sense of falling rain. Change my mind about where they all go. That's better. Okay, but we do need a bit of a greeting on there of some sort. Do do do. Let's have a rain or shine. Shall we have a rain or shine? You're always on my mind. And if so, where shall we put it? It's at the top there. Let's ink that up and stamp it on a on a little piece of Whisper White initially. And we'll do that in, I think we'll do it in black. We'll go with Stays On again because we've used Stays On for the umbrella. Oh, that wasn't very well, was it? That's the thing about Stays On. Not always the easiest ink to stamp with. That's much better. Do we want a label for that, or are we going to go... that's much too big. Actually, I might just trim it down. Let's see if we can trim it down a little bit more. I think I am just going to fetch my scissors. And trim that way, because then I'm just going to take a smidge of blue and back it. So let's take our snail. And we will give that just a little border, but what I do want to do is I just want to cut it like that. So then we will cut that like that, and that like that. And I think we'll have that coming in there on a couple of... Actually, we'll use the a bit more of this tape just because it is slightly deeper than our dimensionals, and obviously this is on this slightly deeper tape, so if we put this up on the slightly deeper tape as well, I want to bring that down just a smidge. And that can come in from the side just there. Shaky, shaky, shaky. So rain or shine, you're always on my mind. So there we go. Let's have a bit of a recap. Let's clear the decks and have a little of a recap on where we've been this week with this lovely stamp set and punch. If you haven't got it and you want it, if you're here in the UK, then do get in touch. If you're not already a demonstrator yourself, or check out your local demonstrator near where you are. So there's our watercolour card yesterday, and those, can we pick up these little raindrops just there in the background that we used that shimmery crystal effects with. I don't think you can quite pick up the glitter on them, but they're now hard. I can drop it all over the place, drop it on the floor now. So lovely 3D sort of effect with those raindrops in the background. So that was our watercoloured one yesterday. That was our one using our Stamparatus. There was our rainbow of umbrellas. There was our peekaboo card. And these were the ones that we cased from the catalogue. So lots and lots of things to do. Oh, and we've got our other card from today. So no line watercolouring and a shaker card. So goodness me, that was a lot of things that we did with that umbrella. If I show you, I'll give you a quick sneaky peek of how many things you can do with strips of paper. How about some quilting? Strips and scraps of paper. How about putting all your oddments onto a big sheet and punching bits out? Using squares, using circles, some iris folding. Here's some strippy techniques for those of you that love that technique. Putting strips behind a punched out, using them for weaving, using them with border punches to overlap. Some perpendicular strips, some diagonal strips, some banners, and some strips up the side. And a little. It's amazing what you can do with some strips of paper. So that was how we amused ourselves yesterday afternoon. But thank you for joining me. For all of those of you that are at home alone and my voice is just a voice to listen to, in what's otherwise can be a very long and lonely day. Have a lovely day. The sun is shining again here in the UK, so hopefully you are able to get out at least into the garden and enjoy the garden. Hang on in there. It'll all be well. All will be well, and all manner of things will be well. So stay well, everybody. I will come in tomorrow morning and say, despite the fact that it is Good Friday, I might bring a hot cross bun. So bring your hot cross buns tomorrow and we'll do something Eastery. So we won't use the umbrellas tomorrow. We'll do something a little bit Eastery to celebrate the fact that we are at the start of the Easter weekend. So yes, come back and see me tomorrow morning if you're around, and have a good day, good night's sleep if it's nearly bedtime, and I'll see you all tomorrow.